They will walk away with understanding what motivates people, therefore how do you recruit people, understanding what motivates them. So it's about how you attract new employees. And make no mistake, despite the economic crisis that we're going through domestically and globally, we still have a skills shortage. We still have an ageing population, which means we have an ageing workforce. And the one area in which New Zealand is losing people on a regular basis is professional, qualified people. The very people who you need to, like any other country, rebuild the economy. So we still have to understand what it takes to recruit new people. Importantly, we have to understand what it takes to retain people, because retaining people is more effective than having to recruit new people, and recruiting new people costs money. And then of course, understanding what sort of leadership we need now and in the future in what is a very different market, despite the fact that many managers and leaders are still making the same mistakes they made in the 80s, 90s and the early part of this decade. Anybody who employs people. I'm glad you asked that question, because I regularly now refer to myself as a reformed accountant and economist, because when I worked in finance, I was actually the person who cut the training and development budget, because you can and because no one would notice. Because people do not place enough value on learning and development. In economic difficulty, I believe that's the one time you shouldn't be cutting learning and development, because you've got the opportunity to spend that extra time raising the skill level of the people in your organisation. Because I believe after every downturn, history has showed it over and over again, after every downturn there is an upturn, and if you haven't invested in your people, they will not have a competitive edge. There are only two things you can't actually copy from your competitors, or they from you: your organisational culture and the quality of your people. And smart organisations will continue to invest in learning and development to keep their people at the cutting edge of their business and their industry. Well, we're going to play what I call a war game with a business partner of mine who's an expert in branding, David Kwasha. And really the focus is that if you want to get your employer brand right, it becomes a very important attraction, recruitment, and importantly, retention tool. And so what we will look at in terms of employer branding is, what do you need to do in terms of recruitment and retention strategies? What is your employee value proposition? What is your unique selling point? What are your strengths? What are your weaknesses? And what is it that you need to do in terms of learning and development, flexibility and leadership? Because I actually believe those three things are key to your employer brand in the context of retention. And it's a lot of fun and very interactive.